Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast. Your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
Spiderman does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast. I am Sam. Joining me today to discuss Spider-Man No Way Home. It's my partner in crime and official Marvel superfan. It's Stefan.
Buckle yourself in, ladies and gentlemen. We are in for a ride.
You have wanted to record this from the minute you walked out of the cinema. The first time you went to the cinema to watch it.
I saw this. They didn't do a midnight release. Let's just throw that one out there.
You're still cross about that. Yeah.
I do midnight. I am the geek. I am there midnight release. I'm there at 11:30 getting me popcorn going. It's going to be amazing. They didn't do one. So, therefore, I had to go to the cinema at 10:30 in the morning.
Well,
I had to book a day off work to go to the cinema. This has never happened before. And,
I have only ever done that for one film, and that was Star Wars Episode 7.
I did that as well. I was
there first thing in the morning. It was the first showing, and the reason why is because it was the only film like I'd ever felt so compelled that if someone spoiled it, I might have hit them.
No, I was there midnight release on that as well.
I just had it in my brain. It's like any other thing, like a film gets spoiled. Like recently, someone spoiled the James Bond ending for me.
Oh,
it annoyed me, but I didn't feel the urge to throttle them.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm fairly confident with Star Wars or indeed like with
oh my
Endgame.
God, Han Solo dies. What?
Yeah. You know, someone had done that. I'd just smack.
Yeah.
and I wasn't 100% confident I wouldn't have done that, so I needed to be there straight away. So I did, and I went to watch it, and it was great. I liked Episode 7. Unfortunately, they then cocked it up, but that's a different story.
But this, I had to have a 3-day sabbatical from all social media.
Yeah.
On the lead up, I didn't touch Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, all of them. They all got muted. My WhatsApp became very much a case of on my lock screen I could read a preview. Normally I don't have read a preview. Yeah. It became read a preview just in case someone mentioned something. And then 10:30 in the morning I was there at the cinema with me popcorn and me ice slushy and I was like, let's do this!
So, it is Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yes.
By the way, when I wrote my notes, right, you'll like this, I wrote Spider-Man Far From, scribbled it out, No Way Home.
Yes.
I don't know how many times I've referred to this film as Far From Home. It must just be because they've used the home in each one. My brain just
Far From Home was the last one. Yeah.
Yeah, just hears it and starts kind of saying it without realising it. So before we start sort of rattling through and going through different bits and pieces, one of the things about this film in the lead up to it, which was kind of unique in a lot of films, the build up to this film centered around some so-called leaked information which said that this film was going to deal with the multiverse.
Yep.
And then obviously when the trailers came out, that kind of confirmed it. And when that leaked information first came out, the person who leaked it to the internet said, this is what I've been told. And one of the amazing things I'm also being told is that this could mean that we see Toby and Andrew return in their guises as Spider-Man.
Like, just you saying that, I felt goosebumps and a smile just thinking, it was amazing it was.
Now, that leaked like 6 months before the film came out. That was kind of this guy who's synonymous in the fraternity of nerds who generally gets told information. Clearly, he's best friends with Kevin Feige.
I think he's actually is Kevin Feige using a different name.
Do you know what? Given that this film's just smashed box office records, and I swear a lot of it was because of the hype and the build up to it, because of the potential of them being there.
Yeah,
I would never be surprised if one day Marvel user 4217 is not in fact Kevin Feige.
Yeah, he's
Because
just
do you
there like
remember
marketing genius.
Do you remember when Ruffalo accidentally Instagrammed live the first 10, 12 minutes of Thor Ragnarok?
Yep.
And then he thought he was going to get fired. He was terrified. He was like, and apparently he did that. And then the next day, like the ticket sales, everything just went through the roof. And he went to this meeting with Feige. Feige like gave him this massive hug and said, "You genius!"
Yeah, and it was Tom Holland and Ruffalo did the whole Instagram thing for Infinity War, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
He held up the name card. It was some merchandise. I thought you'd really like this. It was like, oh my god, this is awesome! What's his bit of paper say? Yeah. Don't forget, this is top secret. Don't show. Yeah. Oh no!
Mental.
It's absolutely so clever. Like, there's no way any of this is accidental. It is so clever.
Yeah. Well, I genuinely believe Ruffalo.
The Ruffalo one probably was. Yeah.
I genuinely believe that because that guy just has that look of if someone explained to him what he had to do to make it look like Elite, he'd look at him like, no, I don't know how to work my phone.
Yeah.
So this film kind of had this insane build-up, and because that was out there and so many people were discussing it and you knew it was the multiverse, you then suddenly started theorizing, well, who else could show up?
Yeah.
And it got to a point where obviously in the trailer we learned of the villains that were going to show up, and the casting kind of became known that certain people like Alfred Molina, people like that who played characters in the earlier
Jamie
Spider-Man
Foxx
films
was coming back, and
exactly, yeah. Once that was kind of known, it just became theory insane, really.
Yeah, what they did that was absolute genius is everyone knows the Spider-Man Sinister Six.
Yeah.
They gave us 5 bad guys, which just meant that everyone was like, well, who's going to finish the roundup?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the 6th one? What's going to happen? Oh, it was amazing.
And, of course, who was the 6th?
Who was the 6th?
Venom.
Oh, Venom, of course. Yeah, no, the end credit scene, of course. Yes.
Yeah,
I was like, wait a minute. I've seen this film 4 times. I've not missed the character.
I love that. I love stuff like that because you watch these films. I can't remember what one it was. You did it to me. We're like, I watched something. I'm like, I've watched this so many. I love this. I am so passionate about this. And you were like, oh, what about this scene? I was like, what scene? What are you on about? I like genuinely must have just had some sort of blackout when I watched it like 3 or 4 times, and there it was. Yeah. But anyway,
I had my hand out then, counting the characters. Going, there's 5. There's definitely 5.
Yeah. So let's start sort of kind of going through it then. The film begins literally, and I mean literally, where Far From Home ended. I love that.
It literally just rolls into it. Like, a lot of films start with the first couple of minutes as kind of like build up and let's get into it. This was like, bang, this is where we were. Let's carry on. Yeah,
so one of the things I quite like about this is one day this would be out on DVD release, etc., etc.
Yeah.
You are literally going to be able to watch these 2 films, Far From Home and No Way Home, as a double act feature.
Back to back, yeah.
Because they literally roll. It's like in the Star Wars universe, you can take the film Rogue One into A New Hope scene to scene.
Yes.
You literally, that will roll. So you watch Rogue One and it literally rolls straight into A New Hope. This is the same. It does that. And it kind of helps us catch up with the MCU, because obviously Far From Home did quite a significant jump in time forward, timeline-wise.
Yes.
And now we're kind of catching up to that. So, like I said, it is then, and I wrote in my bullet points, it's kind of great that it's one giant story. Peter's been revealed to the world. Mysterio has done that video, as we know, and talking about people reappearing from, you know, the other universe, you like, what do you think about the MCU version of Jameson? Because clearly there are variants of him in the other things that we've seen where he runs the newspaper, but this, he's the conspiracy theorist kind of blog nutter.
I love it. I mean, I love it for a couple of reasons. I love it because obviously I grew up Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire was the Spider-Man 3 that I grew up as a kid with.
Agreed, yeah.
And then Amazing Spider-Man came out, and I actually enjoyed the Amazing Spider-Man. I think Garfield was incredible. However, Tobey Maguire was my Spider-Man because that's how I grew up.
Yep.
So therefore, JJJ was he was in the original Spider-Man. That is who. So when he first made that appearance in the end scene of that, I was like, oh, geek out. So the fact that he's still playing the role and he's still there, and he is really like, I think he's absolutely nailed the character in this, even more so.
I think so as well. One of the things, I just sort of said about the Sinister Six and the sixth being Venom.
Yes.
In a lot of ways, in this film, for me, the sixth is actually Jameson. And I don't want to dive into some sort of deep political debate or anything like this, but don't you think that the way they made his character on this kind of really speaks to the way we are in the world right now? You think about wow, I'm about to go somewhere. You think about the insurrection riots in Washington, Jan 6th, in 2020, and you think about how a lot of that was inspired by people just basically like these types of hate blogs and people like that who took a lie, took an untruth, took something they had no evidence for or anything, and pushed it and pushed it and pushed it to the point that everyone believed it. They basically radicalized people.
Yeah, it must be true. That many people are saying it. Yeah,
in this film with Jameson, I kind of feel he's that. He's kind of like
constantly
the embodiment.
doing it. Yeah, he's constantly. Yeah. He's a menace. He's a menace. He's a menace.
Yeah,
he killed a murderer. Bad guy. Guy. Driving it in.
Yeah, because the thing that kind of drives it even more forward is this guy kind of like shouting into a void, the Spider Menace. He's kind of shouting into a void. When Mysterio does what he does, because the police investigate. In this film, you see a police investigation into it, and there is no evidence that he did it. There is no case against Peter, because if there was, he'd be in jail.
And luckily, he had a really good lawyer.
Oh, I'm coming on to that. That's a whole subsection of this podcast.
Just quickly, I've got to say, so before we started recording this podcast, Sam gave me the opportunity to lead this podcast.
I did.
And that right there is the exact reason why I said, no, Sam, you need to lead this. Because my brain is just like, oh, he could have gone down. Good lawyer! That is basically what my brain is doing for this film. So for us to have any structure whatsoever,
any structure,
you need to kind of be in control of this. Cause,
Well, I have my bullet points. Okay. I try to follow them as best I possibly can.
We're going to go back to your bullet points without me just randomly going, good lawyer!
Yeah. But like the Jameson thing, he even has an impact on Peter's school teachers.
Yeah.
Now, this seems comical, but then at the same time, it's really not, because Peter arrives back at school. Everyone knows who he is. Everyone's got a camera phone in his face.
Yep.
There's reporters, journalists trying to interview people. I think Flash, I'm your best friend.
Yeah, there's like a whole paparazzi outside the school. Every newspaper, banners, posters, everything. Yeah. It's a kid going to school.
Yeah, and he goes in, and two of the teachers, Peter, we've done this shrine to you, we're your hero, we love you. But then there's the other one going, you're a murderer.
Yeah.
That's, like I said, it's played in the film as like quite comedic. But when you think about that for a minute, he's a school kid.
Yeah.
And one of his teachers is basically accusing him of being a murderer.
Yeah, and as he walks away, we know what you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, damn.
Oh, yeah, wait a minute. This is, that, how unsettling must that be? And also, one of the other things as well, and I didn't think about this when I watched it, I literally only thought about it a couple of days ago, which is, you see in this film, and don't jump on this because we're going to get to it, you see in this film the best illustration ever of his Spidey sense. And you see just how strong that is in probably an incredible, just one of the best scenes.
Yep.
Knowing that now, and having that scene in your mind, imagine how he feels walking through that school, that corridor, being able to sense the hostility, the tension, all of the people there, or at least half the people there thinking he's a murderer.
Yeah, half the people are like, oh my god, I go to school with Spider-Man. The other half are going, oh my god, I go to school with a murderer.
I go to school with Spider-Man. Yeah,
why is he even allowed in the school? What is going on? Yeah.
Yeah. We also get another kind of, and again, it's comedic, and they play this off really well. When he's up on the roof of MJ, and she's reading an article about him, Apparently,
yes, my Spider Lord.
You should use swimming with the spider's ability. And he's like, "What are you reading?" And he's like, "Put it away." Yes, my spider. I mean,
yeah,
she's brilliant.
Yes.
One of the things I always struggled with a little bit in the Spider-Man films in the previous incarnations is I found the MJ style character, the love interest, if you like, never quite hit the note for me. Like Kirsten Dunst, a beautiful woman, brilliant actress.
Yeah.
Her character in that film annoyed the crap out of me. Like, everything had to be about her.
Yes.
Like he's literally saving the world, and she's like, "Oh, but you're 5 minutes late for our date."
Yeah.
She used to frustrate me. Like, I never understood that. Then, of course, in Andrew Garfield, of course, we know what happened there.
Yeah. I loved that. To be fair, the Gwen and Peter thing in Amazing Spider-Man, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. That's
chemistry. Yeah, the chemistry between them was... I mean, it turns out they were dating at the same time, so that probably helped the chemistry a bit.
Do you think, just as a side note then, do you think that should make Tom Holland nervous? That it's now been revealed that not only was Andrew Garfield dating her at the time, and they then split up, but it's now been revealed that Toby was dating Kirsten Dunst.
It's in the contract. Right, guys, we need you guys to act like you're really in love, so what we're going to do is you're going to date for a while. But no, they were actually it's been released, wasn't it? They were actually told at the beginning of Homecoming, do not do this.
Yeah, you will not get involved with each other, yeah.
What's the worst thing you can tell someone in their early 20s? Don't do something.
To be honest with you, man, you say that to anybody, any age. You ever watch the Friends episode with Joey where he's like trying to go after Ross's nanny? And Ross says, no, she's off the limit. She is there. And he's like, oh, now I want her even more. He's like, what are you, a child? And I've never related to a TV character more in my life. Someone says to me, like, you can't do that. Like, you see a sign that says wet paint.
Touch it. Is it still wet?
Is it still wet? I need to know. There's a famous psychological test about being locked in a room with a button that says do not push.
Yep.
The button literally opens the door. But it says do not push on it, and you basically monitor the person to see how long it takes before they crack. I would literally push it the minute I was alone.
Door closed, door open.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do not. I'd have to. I just couldn't not do it. My brain would itch.
At the same time, can you imagine? So you've got Tom Holland sat there.
Yeah.
And you're Tom. So this is Zendaya, very attractive young lady, fantastic actress.
Yeah.
Do not fall for her or date her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Zendaya. Here is Tom Holland.
Yeah.
A very attractive young actor, very
British
good actor,
accent.
British accent. Do not fall for him.
Yeah.
We're now going to leave you in a room together. Duh.
The thing I like about those two in real life as well, by the way, is they seem to really balance each other out.
Yeah,
like
she hates him in his spoilers though. Oh, she hates him in his spoilers.
Oh, do you see that look? Yeah. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Imagine being told that Iron Man died before seeing Endgame. Looks at him. Yeah. Oh, that'd be awful. Oh,
yeah. But don't you find with stuff like that, you're like, oh, that's great. You can see they really have a relationship beyond just kind of like, you know, sometimes with couples, especially celebrity couples, you kind of get the feeling like their agents set it up. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes.
It kind of feels like you two are literally dating because two agents got together and went, how can we raise our client's profile? I know.
Yes.
Let's have them date. And then you get the ones where you can genuinely tell, like, think of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively.
Yeah.
You know, Ryan Reynolds was, like, married to and dated some of the string of the most beautiful women in the world. And Blake Lively is beautiful, by the way. But you can tell their relationship is absolutely genuine.
So, just the naturalness.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like I said, this social media kind of hate campaign from Jameson has stirred all this for him. So he's going to school. It's really difficult. He is being interviewed by the police, and we do get to see the scenes with that. And then we have a scene where he's sat around a coffee table with Happy, his Aunt May.
Mm-hmm. And a new character. There's a new character
to the MCU.
Yeah.
There's a cameo. A cameo from a blind lawyer named Matthew Murdoch.
Daredevil! I'm back. Okay, yeah.
So let's just sort of break this down a little bit straight away. So me and you, if you want to go back and find them, there are Marvel Netflix shows that were created in the sort of 2015, I think, sort of era.
Yeah,
and the lead show for them was called Daredevil.
Yes!
It was a character called Matthew Murdock, who's a blind lawyer. Now, there have been incarnations on screen before, and we're not going to talk about it.
We don't talk about Ben Affleck in any way, shape, or form.
Ever talk about Ben Affleck as Daredevil. It is awful. But if you ever want to see what a true comic book incarnation, you want to try and capture a character, Charlie Cox, the actor, as Daredevil, Matthew Murdock, in the Netflix shows, it is perfect.
Yes.
It's incredible. He nails it. So to introduce him now into the MCU, for me, it was... Because it had been rumoured, there'd been this kind of thing, and then there was this trailer of this guy looking like a lawyer going into the police station, and I was like, could it be? Could it be? No, it's not, because the IMAX trailer then showed the guy's face, and it definitely wasn't him.
Yeah, but
so
there was
like,
so much build up to it. So much build up.
So much. And then the scene, for one, when you put this scene in the context of the entire film, it's nothing. It's a throwaway.
Absolutely throwaway.
But, man... I loved it.
He is now in the MCU. He has appeared. He is now there as Matthew Murdock, and the brick through the window was the bit, that little bit there that made you just go, that's not just a nod to this is a lawyer called Matthew Murdock. This is a nod to this guy is Daredevil. Yeah. And this is him now in the MCU films. Oh, how'd you do that? I'm a really good lawyer. Yeah, you are!
So, Matthew Murdock is a lawyer.
Yes.
The Netflix side of things, where we are, in essence, treating as canon. How much of it is discussed in the MCU, I don't think we're going to get any of it discussed. I think we're just treating them as canon characters, and they are there.
What excites me the most, as well, from this is, number one, we're going to get Daredevil in the MCU. Number two, Kingpin is already in the MCU.
Yeah, he is.
Disney Plus. This now means that Jessica Jones has the potential to come back into the MCU. If Iron Fist can stay in Cumberland, he can stay.
I have some info for you.
As long as he is staying there protecting the gates, it's fine. And that's it. And Luke Cage. Now, I was an absolute fanboy for the Luke Cage shows.
Yeah, you were.
So if he can come back and they can create the Defenders, even if it's done on Disney Plus, but it is canon to what is happening in the MCU with the Defenders, that is going to be phenomenal. And of course, it means there's now a potential for one of your favourite characters to join the MCU and to potentially fill in some of these epic, like iconic comic book roles that have seen him link up. He's linked up with Spiderman before. He's linked up with Deadpool before.
Well, you are discussing the Punisher.
Of course.
So let me just, again, and I know we're taking this on kind of little segues, but let me just sort of kind of fill you in on the rumours surrounding things at the moment. So Matt Murdock, the Daredevil character, has appeared in Spider-Man now. The Spider-Man film ending literally ends right as Hawkeye. So timeline-wise, if you've seen the Hawkeye series on Disney Plus, and we're not trying to give away any spoilers for that in case you haven't, that show, timeline-wise, is right with where Spider-Man is.
Potentially. So, I've seen a rumour that actually Hawkeye's 2 years further on.
It's not.
It's not?
No.
Not.
No, it's definitely not. And the reason why I know it's definitely not is because Kevin Feige said it's not.
Oh, he has now come out and said it?
Yeah.
Awesome!
Yeah. So it's there. So the thing, because for one, the Rogers the Musical wouldn't still be going 2 years on. And
you say that, my favourite musical, Wicked, has been going for like 20.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have the same level of advertising.
No, true.
What I mean is, like, the Phantom of the Opera in London's West End's there. It's there constantly. I don't travel around London with massive billboards for Phantom of the Opera. That's because that's what you do when you got a new show.
True,
So, But anyway, sorry, again, being super nerdy with that. But, yeah, Rogers the Musical. I could do this all day.
No.
So he now is a definite character in this, and we know because of the cameo and relationship timeline-wise, the rumour is, and apparently he's even appearing in the cast list now because of how confirmed this is, he is going to appear as a recurring character in the series She-Hulk.
Awesome.
The series She-Hulk debuts very soon, and he's also going to appear in Echo.
Sweet, okay.
So that is another TV series which is coming to Disney Plus. We'll have to look out for.
Yeah, I'm so happy they're integrating these.
Do you want to hear something kind of funny?
Yep.
So I have an Alexa device in my house.
Yep.
And my Alexa device is activated by a certain word that said ECHO. And as I've just said it on the podcast, I can hear her in the background just jammering away. So I'm going to try and edit that out.
I didn't want to mention it because I thought you'd edit it, but yeah.
I would try and edit it out, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to edit it out fully.
Other devices are available for your household.
Yeah, so other household devices are available. Apologies, everybody, for that being in the background, but it's kind of funny, so never mind. Maybe I'll just leave it and make everyone laugh. But yeah, so there's that show that I now cannot name.
Yes, Echo. I said that before, yeah.
It would appear that he is going to be a character we're going to see recurring, definitely in Disney Plus roles, and
so
I'm thrilled. Absolutely thrilled about that. So he does make a cameo in this film. He does catch the brick thrown through the window. So there's two parts of that. One, as you so eloquently pointed out, it proves he's Daredevil.
Yep.
It could have just been a wonderful cameo for everyone who liked the Netflix shows, just to see Matt Murdock as a solicitor and a little bit of a fun character nod.
Yep.
But the fact he catches that brick, uses the line, "I'm a very good lawyer," when he does it, it's kind of beautiful. In that moment, that to me, you didn't need him to do anything as Daredevil. I didn't need to see him in a suit help Spider-Man. I didn't need anything else. That moment alone was perfect.
Yes, 100%.
One of the things that comes out in the movie, but the second aspect to it is obviously that people are violently trying to attack him. People are that stirred up, that angry, that kind of mob mentality that they believe he's a villain.
That's it. We believe Mysterio on the brick. Yeah.
Yeah. People are trying to attack him. So you've got that aspect to it. One of the things that happens in this, and you've seen this film a couple of times now. I've only seen it once.
Okay.
I kind of need your help here.
Okay.
What is happening with Stark Industries? Because Murdoch basically says to Peter, "You're fine. They got nothing on you. You're okay." But then turns to Happy and he's like, "You need a lawyer."
Yeah, so Happy. So basically, Stark Industries has been the Department of Damage, basically, that they've come in and gone, right. So because of the drones being owned by Stark, they've now gone in and basically investigated all of Stark technology.
Yeah.
But there is an item missing from the inventory.
Yeah.
And it turns out that it is the fabricator that we see on the plane.
Yeah.
Where he makes his new seat in the last film.
Yeah.
Happy has decided to take this to his little holiday resort.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, Stark Industries are now under investigation,
and all their assets have been frozen and things like that.
Yeah, I mean that's what I take from it. I take from it the fact that assets frozen, companies kind of suspended. Yeah. What's Pepper Potts doing at this point?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting, and I'd like to learn more about it, because I watched the film, and like I said, so much happens in this film. You do kind of need to watch it a couple of times, I think. I've only seen it once.
Yeah, last night was my fourth.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. All right.
I've done cinema 4 times, twice in 2D, once in IMAX, and last night I attempted 4DX.
Oh yeah, I meant to say to you, was that actually any good or just weird?
Fantastic, weird, hilarious, all of the emotions in one. Being rained on. When you get rained on in a theatre, when it's raining on the screen, that is something else.
Okay, I'm not sure I'd like
But yeah, it's very interesting. If you have a 4DX cinema around you, I would say my theory on this is go watch a movie, and if you love that movie enough to go see it again, go see it in 4DX.
Okay, alright.
Don't go watch a movie for the first time in it, because you'll just lose too much.
Distracted. Yeah. Okay. Alright. Okay, cool. Alright, thanks, man.
But my God, see this when it's got swinging on webs from buildings, because that is like being on a roller coaster in America.
Okay.
It's the chairs move all over the place when you're swinging on webs. It's incredible.
Yeah, I've got to be honest with you. I don't think it's for me. Like, you described it to me, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, I'd not heard of that. And then I looked it up, and I was like, that sounds like maybe when I was younger.
Yeah.
Now I'm old. Give me my slippers.
You get a backache by the time you come out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'll make me feel ill. It's like with someone I used to play like a lot of sort of video games, console games, and I always remember like one of my uncles said, "Oh no, I can't play that. It makes me feel dizzy." I used to think, "Whatever, you old, you old fart." And then someone let me have a go on a VR headset the other day, and I basically had to sit down afterwards. I was like, I have no idea where I am. Like, I'm so disorientated right now. Yeah. Anyway, moving on swiftly from being an old git. So we have that great scene, happy, like I said, in Stark. But one of the things this does is it kind of levels Peter down a lot. Yeah. Because one of the things Peter's had, thanks to Tony, is this access to incredible technology.
Yep.
Kind of infinite resources, if you like, of Stark. The drone tech, the glasses, everything that came as part of that.
Yeah.
And that's all gone. I mean, he's got his current suit, and that's kind of it. That's
his
kind
current
of all
suit that gets paint poured on it, so he has to turn it inside out because he can't clean it. Yeah. He is back to basics.
Before we move on completely, did you notice the Liz Toombs article on a magazine?
Oh.
So Peter's walking, and there's like a big like the newsstands, like very New York newsstands. There's a magazine, and the front of this magazine is like People magazine. It's got Liz Toombs on it, who we saw in Spider-Man Homecoming. Was kind of his love interest initially.
It. Yeah.
And the article's titled "He's a Liar."
Oh.
So clearly she's been interviewed. Oh no, sorry, its title is "Peter Parker is a Liar."
Oh no, do you know what? That's embarrassing. I've been 4 times, I didn't notice that.
No, well, yeah.
That's
cool.
I
say these things sometimes. I'm like, did I make that up in my mind? Did I spot that? I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've seen it 4 times and you didn't spot it. Now I'm nervous, but I'm fairly confident. It says Peter Parker is a liar, and it's a picture of Liz Toombs. So yeah, that's gonna tie in somewhere, I think, because obviously her dad's in jail. Is she gonna try and use this as a way of getting him out?
Well, yeah, because her dad, the Vulture, was one of these things where it was a big thing. Everyone was like, is he going to be the 6th one? Like, we've seen him before in the movies. Is he going to be number 6? He wasn't.
Yeah.
So,
We'll wait and see. I mean, the other theory, of course, is around Ned, but we'll come on to that.
Mm-hmm.
MJ, Peter, and Ned are all unable to get into MIT. That's my next bullet point. I think they did a great job with the scene and the tone for this, because it could be very easy just to kind of brush past this, but it actually had a real significant, if not massive, impact on the entire story.
Yep.
Because them not being allowed to go to MIT, like him being rejected, he kind of took that as, I've made decisions, I've got this ability and I've done this, but the minute it's impacting people he loves is when he's really broken up by it.
Yeah, he can kind of deal with people not liking him. He's like, yeah, okay, that's fine, I'll deal with it. But yeah, as soon as it's kind of like, oh, my girlfriend and my best friend didn't get into their college because of they know me, that's not right.
No, and he's absolutely right. It's not, and it just, the impact of that, I think, is what leads him at the very end to do what he did, because it's kind of like, this is a situation where I feel that me being me and being Spider-Man is causing the people I love absolute pain.
Yes,
it's causing them to lose parts of their life, which means a lot to them.
Yeah. So
one of the funny things is it's Halloween at this point, and he looks up at the Halloween decorations and sees like a witch.
It's like a vampire-y, witchy sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what that looks like.
And what's funny is that you throw back to the kind of jabs that Stark used to throw at Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
About being a wizard.
Yeah. And even throughout this film, it's like, what you do? Kids' parties? Yeah. It's always taking the piss out of the fact that he's a magician.
Yeah.
Woo, wizard.
Yeah. See, there's certain ways, like, I remember when I first heard the premise of Doctor Strange and the character, because it wasn't one I was aware of.
Yeah.
And, like, they're bringing magic into the MCU. Oh, no, this is going to make it so naff. This is not going to work at all.
Yeah.
I think the real-world reaction to him being a mystic art sorcerer and calling him a wizard made it work.
Yeah.
The kind of taking the piss, the kind of, what the hell, you're a magician? Really? I think even Thor likes, so Earth has wizards now.
Yeah, I'm a Norse god, but wizards, that's too far, come on.
Exactly, yeah. And that's what kind of just helped it perfectly into everything. And we all just accepted it, like, okay. Yep.
Yeah, we're going
no
for
worries.
it.
Yeah, we've all ribbed them over it, so it makes sense now. But he goes to see Doctor Strange, and he goes to see Doctor Strange on the basis of, like, is there anything you can do? Is there a spell or something you can do to help me in this situation? Now, it's based on a very famous comic, which is what he does in the comic book.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, obviously, when they saw the basic premise of the film and saw Doctor Strange was going to be in it, obviously realised where they were going to go with this, and I think that was what led to Theory Bonanza.
Yeah.
First of all, we learned that Wong is Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, but by technicality.
Yeah. By a technicality on the fact that...
laugh.
By the fact that Strange got blipped and was gone for 5 years, Wong is now basically the head guy.
Yeah. He has other things to do. Oh yes, that's apparently.
One of the funny things from the trailer was everyone was going crazy with all these mental theories about why is the Sancta Sanctorum frozen? Why is there snow everywhere? And I saw some of the most in-depth Mephisto-level crazy-ass theories.
No, someone just hadn't oiled the seals properly.
Yeah. Someone literally left one of the doors open to the Arctics, and the whole place was frozen.
I love
and
it.
And they couldn't thaw it out, and they were like trying to clean it up. Again, it just goes to show that sometimes they deliberately give us something in trailers just to send us off an absolute freaking deep end just for it to be nothing.
And like in the trailer, there's a conversation in the trailer between Wong and Steven. Yeah. And it's like, you don't do this, it's too don't do that. That never happens in the film.
No.
In the film, Wong's just like Wong's just literally like, just leave me out of it. Don't get me involved. Not to do with me, thank you.
Yeah, don't cause problems, Stephen. I'm off to sort something out.
You can't do it, it's dangerous. Why? Do you remember the part, the moonlight part? No, exactly. And you're like, oh, that's brilliant.
It was great. That was great. The line deliverer, basically, he's clearly wiped his memory of something before.
Yes, not the first time.
Wong as well leaving, basically dropping a knowledge bomb and then walking through a portal has become one of my new favourite memes on the internet. Basically like, come back tomorrow for Wong's fact bomb of the day.
Love
and
it.
You just get another one of him saying something and then walking through a portal.
Do you reckon he was off fighting in the you know how we saw it in Shang-Chi?
Yeah.
That's where he's off to. He doesn't tell anyone, but he's actually off to go earn some extra cash on the side.
Blatantly, yeah, because he never has enough money to buy a Ben and Jerry's.
That's it.
What's the one he likes the most?
The Hulk
Rocker,
one,
Hulk and Fudge.
That's
it. Yeah, I like that one the most. Yeah, the Stark Raven Hazelnuts. It's a little too chalky for me. Love Wong. Wong, you're coming to my wedding. By the way, did Wong go to the wedding? He wasn't blipped away.
Oh.
Yeah, it'd be nice to find out one day.
Yeah.
Maybe Morgan calls him Uncle Wong. That'd be hilarious. Like, Wong, you're coming to my wedding, just because of that one thing where he saved him. One of the things that obviously is about to happen is we're going to see Doctor Strange cast a spell. The idea of the spell is that everyone's going to forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Yes.
Now that is a really important detail for everyone to pick up on because of what happens at the end of the film.
Yep.
So this spell, initially, the plan is everyone's going to forget Peter Parker is Spider-Man. That's the thing.
Yep. And then he starts freaking out.
Because Peter suddenly thinks, but then my Aunt May won't know that I'm Spider-Man. I don't want to have that conversation again. She nearly had a heart attack last time.
I can't go down it. My girlfriend's going to... all the things that's happened. It's only been a week. Calm down.
Is she even gonna remember she's my girlfriend?
Yeah.
So every time he says someone else that needs to be added in, Strange has to kind of create an additional strand to the spell, and you see he keeps adding strand, and he's saying to Peter like, "Stop,
that's enough
stop
now,
Peter,
yeah,
stop it now." And it gets to a point where he loses all control of the spell, and then he crashes it down into, I think he says like puts it into like a mirror dimension.
Yeah, it's a chaos spell. Yeah,
it's like to stop the spell from just like creating absolute havoc.
Yeah.
Now we know, unfortunately, he doesn't shut it down fast enough.
Some
people do get dragged through. But so there's two things from this I want to talk to you about quickly. So first of all, the spell. Why is it that when Thanos showed up, why didn't anyone turn around to Doctor Strange and say, "Is there a spell you can do that and make this guy forget what he wants? He wants the Infinity Stones."
There's a couple of these. So it all depends on how deep you want to go with this. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Because, Tony Stark could have turned around and gone, "Can you make Thanos forget he wants to kill the universe?"
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. Or
spell done.
Or could
End
Peter
credits.
Parker have not gone up and Peter Parker's gone, "Can you make the world forget that Mysterio told everyone who I am? Can you just make him forget that bit?" No, he goes straight for, "Tell everyone I'm not Spider-Man."
Yeah. So there's a few things around that. It is the problem when you introduce these kind of magical elements and stuff like that. It's then very difficult to imagine there's restrictions. Yeah. And when you've got a sorcerer as powerful to basically change the minds of everybody on the planet,
yes,
it seems odd to imagine that he wouldn't be able to make Thanos shoot himself in the face.
Yes, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, hang on a minute. Why weren't you able to do that? Why couldn't you have just done this? Why? I mean, there's probably very excellent, well thought out, nerd level, a million answers to that. Like, oh, Thanos already had something, Infinity Stone, he'd have been immune. There you go, done. So, there you go, we've sorted it. We've already solved it. So there was that aspect to it, which was kind of interesting. But then the next bit, which is probably, for me, my biggest laugh out loud moment in the whole film. And there were a few where I, like, real joy and a few where I really laughed. This really made me nearly crack a rib where I laughed so hard suddenly. Is the moment that Doctor Strange realises that Peter's doing this because his friends have been rejected to get into MIT, and he's chosen a spell to wipe the memories of the entire planet rather than picking up the phone to the people at MIT to appeal.
Well, when you put it like that...
and that's the line. That's the line.
I love it.
Well, when you say it like that. And it's so perfect because Doctor Strange, in that moment, he suddenly goes again from being a colleague of his. Like he's trying to treat him as a colleague. We are Avengers.
We saved the universe together.
Yeah.
For goodness sake, kid.
You're a kid, and it just reverts. Like he's treating him as if Stark had come to him or someone else had come to him. He's treating him the same level of respect.
Like you must have surely done everything physically possible to get to this.
Before you've got to
you didn't even phone them to say that's not fair. Oh, okay.
It was amazing. It was just absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. It was just so funny. So then you've got the situation where it goes from that, and Peter then decides, you're right, I should just try and ring these people. He tries, he can't get through. He finds out that a woman's in a car literally on her way to the airport, and this is the woman he needs to convince.
Yes.
So he then, basically wearing a suit, gets there, tries to... I think he gets out of a cab, starts running along the cars to try and find her.
He swings in and instantly realises that he's still got cameras over him because in the suit. And I love the fact that... So he's got the nanotech now.
Yeah.
And it's the nanotech suit. He takes the suit off and the suit inside is crumpled to heck. That suit clearly doesn't have enough room inside the Spidey suit for a nice suit underneath it as well. Like,
it's kind of a beautiful little detail, and also it suits him so much.
Yes.
Tony Stark would step out of that Iron Man suit like the guy just stepped out of a salon.
In a pristine
I am
tuxedo.
impeccable. Yeah, I am here. But Peter, it just doesn't work that way.
Peter comes out and is like crumpled up. You almost want to see a sock tucked over one of his trousers.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, or only wearing one sock, one shoe missing. just generally a bit dishevelled, a shirt untucked, tie like crooked. Yeah, just it's perfect. It suits him so well. So he gets out. Now, again, when you watch a trailer for these films, the trailers are designed to kind of make you desperately want to see the film.
Pique your interest. Yeah.
Yeah, the idea is here's a snippet of a scene from this film, and the idea is that you see that snippet and you are then desperate to see the full scene to see what the hell happens.
Yes.
The minute I see where he is, I know because of the trailer what's coming.
Yeah, and how quickly do you get like the goosebumps if you're like, any minute now it's going to happen.
Any second.
Here it comes, here it comes.
We are going to get it. And so he is basically attacked by Doc Ock.
After calling MIT dumb.
After calling MIT dumb. Yeah. We're kind of brushing over Peter's first attempt at a pill.
You didn't rehearse this, did you, Peter? No.
By the way, that woman's lovely as well, because that's the funniest thing about that is she genuinely looks on him as you're just trying to do something really nice and you are ballsing this up. I'm not going to hold it against you, but come on, kid. You've just, you know, you're Spider-Man. For God's sake, be better.
Yeah. Don't be dumb. Am I too dumb? No, I'm dumb. You're dumber. No, I'm dumber. No.
Yeah. What am I saying? What language am I speaking? So when Doc Ock attacks, though, this woman is in danger and he does save her.
Yes.
Which is kind of interesting. It's like a little tiny detail is that she clearly had doubts in her mind. She's part of this committee. All these rumours about him are abound. And clearly she's like, well, I think he's a hero, but there's so much doubt. Can I admit him? Can I admit his friends?
Yeah.
She actually sees firsthand, in person, what he does, how he does it, and how he saves her, selflessly taking an absolute beating to make sure she's okay.
Losing a part of his nanosuit that gets ripped off by Doc Ock.
Yeah, Doc Ock. Yeah. But why do sorry, just circling back to that in a second. Her whole demeanour, everything, when she then talks to him at the end of like the thing,
you're a hero.
It's just completely, you're a hero. Like, there's no doubt now. I've just witnessed this firsthand. I don't care what anybody says. Someone, you're a hero. The nano suit. So there's two aspects to this. One, the nanosuit obviously again was a Tony Stark invention because of one of the things I loved about Iron Man and the evolution of Iron Man for all the films is every time he was defeated or took a battle or took a whooping in any of the films, in the next film you saw him, there was an adjustment to his suit which made sense because of what happened. Brody shot out the sky, couldn't get to him fast enough. He then adds a rocket booster to his suit.
Yep.
He has the battle where he loses his suit. He invents the nanotech so it revolves. Thanos stabs him because the nanotech's all over the place. He then evolves with that as well, like a shield. There's so much, like you see with all these different things. And so Peter's suit, he was the same. He used all these different things for Peter. There's a load of examples with the designs he did previously. Tony, for example, there was that time he was freezing cold in the desert, so he put a heater in Peter's suit.
Yep.
Freezing cold out, not in the desert. Freezing cold in the desert.
No.
Great. Well, sometimes at like 2 a.m. it's cold.
This is true. But yeah, no, you're right. He changed everything. He's evolving everything all the time. Oh, that didn't work. Let's add that into it. That doesn't work. Let's add that. Yeah, it's genius.
The ultimate scientist engineer, really. Yeah. Just constantly tinkering and constantly improving.
We see it with this. So Doc Ock's arms absorb the nanotech that he rips off. And then as he goes to stab Peter, the mask comes off and it goes into his chest to protect him. It's phenomenal.
It is phenomenal, and it also leads to, like I said, some really great scene because Doc Ock is, you're not Peter Parker. So straight away now we're like, this is a multiverse character.
Yeah,
because up until this point it's all fan theory. It's all out there. It's all fan theory. You're fairly convinced by it, but we've seen Jameson in this version of the MCU now, so these people do exist. They're just different versions of themselves. So Dr. Otto Octavius could just be another run-of-the-mill bad guy here, and it's the first time we're seeing him. But no, this is definitely confirmed. You're not Peter.
Yeah, and the next bit,
which is great, is the nanotech not only has been absorbed into these things, they then take over
I love it.
thing.
Like a little notification. New suit analyzed. Hey!
And Peter basically is able to then take control. And the actor, I mean, brilliant. I mean, the guy who plays him is fantastic. And he's just, the lines, like, Peter's basically treating him like a puppet.
Yeah.
Moving him around. He's like, stop that, stop it. He's like, shut up.
Yeah. And Peter is just laughing like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah. Just such a kid, such an ass, really, with that. But, you know, he takes him back to Doctor Strange's kind of lair. They got him locked down in this kind of cell.
Yeah.
And it's at this point we learn what's going on.
Yeah.
The kind of aspect of that this spell, before he could shut it down, has dragged, rather than erasing everybody on the planet's mind of Peter Parker being Spider-Man, it's dragged from the multiverse people who knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
Yeah. What?
It's fun.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's so brilliant because there's so many people it could have been, and there's so many ways they could have done it, and I think what they've done is just perfect.
Yeah, no, really, really good. So we, I mean, I'm just going down for my bullet points now. We have Doc Ock, we have Electro, we have the Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, who, by the way, shows up on the bridge.
He does show up on the bridge very slightly.
Yeah. We have Sandman.
Yep.
We have the Lizard.
Yep.
And, of course, Venom, but that's a side note.
We don't talk about him just yet.
I've written down my next bullet point here, which should make you laugh.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo this shit, please.
Yeah. Please.
What's your opinion on Doctor Strange speaking to the Peter Parker and his dream team?
Yeah, I love it. I loved MJ's kind of thing before that of, well, actually, I know a couple of magic words myself.
Yeah.
And his reply, and that was the moment. So that was the moment that they showed that in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like, Scooby do this, please, or please Scooby do this, and everyone went down the line of, that's not Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange wouldn't speak like that. That's not him.
No.
But actually, it is Doctor Strange, and it's Doctor Strange kind of taking himself down to their level.
Yep.
To kind of get a point across almost.
Yeah.
You know, I could tell you the big words, but you're not a big person. You're a little person. You're a child. So I'm going to speak to you like you're a child. Scooby-Doo this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ice brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, he's a bit of a patronising ass, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's funny. Very, very funny.
Yes.
He then obviously sets him up on this task and gives Peter a kind of mystical weapon, if you like, which enables him to kind of blast these people and take them to this cell where he's got them. And Peter has to go out and hunt them.
Now,
and
on
so
this,
they're looking for them.
A couple of bullet points I've got for this. Number one, duct taping his phone to his chest so that they can watch what he's doing. The whole point of that is amazing. And his phone
being smashed to bits is hilarious.
And the fact that the suit that he's wearing, he's cleaning the suit and he goes, oh, that could work. And it is literally his suit inside out. You can see the little microchips and the wires and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, what's mental is the fact that the first time I watched the film, I didn't even click onto that.
Well, to be honest with you, like I said to you about watching this film a few times, I think I could watch this film again and again and again, and every time I'd take something different away.
Yeah, like the suit itself, I was just like, oh, okay, it's got a black suit, that's cool. And it was only the second time I watched it, so the first time I'm watching it and just like, oh my god, this is amazing. The second time I watched it was more like, okay, I've seen some TikToks, I've seen some posts around of Easter eggs to look out for. So the second time I watch it, I'm now watching the background more. I'm paying more attention to not the storyline. And that's when I was like, wait a minute, you can actually see all the little microchips and everything that Stark would have put in the suit.
Yeah.
It's all just there. And I'm like, this is amazing.
And it's just so simple. It's so how Peter would be, really.
And of course, you know, is that a tree person? Tree baddie? But no, I mean, it's just a tree dude. Oh, okay.
It's just a tree dude. I've seen loads of stuff about that tree now taking over New York. Tree man. Yeah, anyone who's seen The Witcher knows how dangerous a tree can be.
Well, yes.
But yeah, so he goes out and he tries to take that Electro, take that Sandman, kind of helps him, which I thought was quite an interesting thing.
Helped him and then turns on him very quickly, but still gets put there anyway, so it's okay. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So he manages to round them up, which is great. But it's at this point we kind of enter this dispute with Doctor Strange. The bad guys are kind of all got things that have happened to them, which has made them bad, if that makes sense. You learn that like Doc Ock has got this. They've kind of interfered with his brain waves and all these different things, and he kind of starts listening to them a little bit, kind of picking up on bits, and obviously it's revealed that Doctor Strange is planning to send them all back to their own universes. And I think someone, I can't remember which character it is, basically says, "You're talking to ghosts, kid. All of these people die at the hands of Spider-Man."
Yeah.
And to Peter, that's huge. That is like massive. That is a huge no-no, line I will not cross. I'll capture people, spin a web round them, and leave a note saying for the police, arrest this guy, he's bad.
Yeah.
That I can't have these people die. I need to help them. Doctor Strange is like, they're not our universe, not our problem. We're sending them back. Peter won't stand for that, and that's kind of where we have a dispute between the two. What are your thoughts on that as a debate? That kind of the 2 points of view, because I have to be completely honest, and I think much like with Captain America Civil War, where I looked at that and went, okay, I can understand both sides of this debate. If only they'd have a better conversation, I think they could find a compromise.
Yeah.
With this, I'm similar. I can understand completely both points of view with what was going on. What about yourself?
Yeah, it's... because when I watch it, there's like the whole thing of just send them back, doesn't matter what. 5 lives are more important than the entire universe is. What you want about, Peter?
Yeah.
Come on, get on with it.
Yeah.
And the other side of it is, I think this film really shows the full kind of journey of Peter Parker becoming the hero that he's meant to be. The fact that even though it's only 5 lives to save a universe, or the world, the universe, the multiverses, it's still too much for him to go, I can't just spare these people. No. I must save them. I must help them.
There is an element with how he captures is the wrong word, how he gets Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
Because there is an element of Maze, this is just a really confused man.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, that's how he sees them all, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He sees them all just as this kind of confused, not in their own place, and he wants to help them. It's his natural instinct as he wants to help, and MJ, supports him. Kind of, probably why she loves him. This is his nature, what he wants to do. Ultimately, and this is kind of the thing. Ultimately, it costs him everything. This decision right now, when we go into the second part of the film, if you like, it is what costs him his entire life.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just worth us sort of pausing on it for a moment, just because you can take that, and this character could go a very, very dark way if you think about it. And we're going to dive into why he doesn't big time, obviously.
Yeah.
But he makes the decision that he makes purely for good. Purely because he's got a good heart. And that decision then leads to the death of someone he loves, and the whole world not knowing who he is.
Yeah. You
could well understand it if he then became a very dark character.
Oh, yes.
But, do you know what I mean? It's like, it could almost be a villain origin story, this. Because you'd think to yourself, why in the hell would I ever help people again?
Yeah, what's the point? Yeah.
I've tried to save the world for 2 films now, and they all hate me for it, or loads of them hate me for it and think I'm a murderer. I try and save these group of people, and they end up, this is what happens. Well, never again. I'm done. You guys can bite me.
Yeah, I'm out of this. Thank you. Yeah.
Now, obviously, like I said, there's a very good reason why that doesn't happen. So, before moving on into that second part, there is a fight scene between Doctor Strange and Peter Parker, Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
two things for me before you say anything on it. One is visually, the Doctor Strange stuff is like a throwback to his movie with the mirror dimension. Visually in the cinema, that must just be incredible. Just visually it's incredible. And just, it's fantastic. Two, Peter beats him by basically using mathematics.
This is just geometry. I'm good at this.
Yeah, geometry, yeah.
Yes.
And basically every maths teacher in the world had a mild, coronary at that moment.
Yeah.
And are now basically planning their lessons for the next term, semester, whatever, around,
the mirror.
You think maths isn't important? Well, Peter Parker was able to defeat Doctor Strange because of this.
Yeah.
You've just, it's a maths teacher's dream come true.
Oh, isn't it
this whole
just?
scenario.
Isn't it just? Yeah.
So from your point of view, the fight scene, what did you think?
Just so much. Like, I try to put it into words really now. So it starts off with kind of like they go into, he shatters it. He shatters the world into the mirror dimension, and I'm like, okay. And Peter's
the punch, when he punches Peter out of his body.
Going back to that. So so we get the Spidey tingles around the head, and the way you almost physically see the wavy lines, which is throwback to the cartoons and the comics.
Yep.
That is awesome.
That's
and the fact that
awesome.
Even out of body, Strange is like, you shouldn't be able to do this. How are you doing this? That is how heightened that Spidey sense is.
Yeah, it is.
And he literally swims back to his body like that was the coolest thing ever. Don't do that again. Yeah.
That line cracked me up. That was the coolest thing ever, but don't you ever do that to me again.
Yeah, and it's like, we are showing that Spider-Man is by far the most overpowered character in the MCU. The stuff he is able to do.
In the whole MCU, I don't know. But he is... The thing I like about Spider-Man is the thing that gets talked about a little bit in the comics is he pulls his punches.
Yeah.
He is ridiculously strong.
They've worked it out.
He
is actually stronger than Captain America.
Yeah, I can believe that.
There was a thing, it was in Homecoming, I believe it was, and they compared it to Captain America struggling to hold the helicopter as it was flying off to Peter Parker from laying down, being able to stand up
whole building
and pull the building off it. And they worked out the comparisons. And not even a contest.
No, it's not. And that's the interesting thing, because he has all of that at such a young age that he has to learn to control it. Because you can see that in a little bit of the other Spider-Man films where they lose their way a little bit. I think they're one of the films where the Flash character is a real bully and he kind of fights back that time and then he kills him. Yeah. And it's like you have to. And one of the things I think Peter says his very first introduction in Captain America: Civil War, and he's talking to Tony Stark, and he's like, "You've got all these abilities, and you're not doing it." He's like, "Well, I've got this. I didn't run before, so I don't run now. I didn't go out for athletics before, and I don't do it now."
Yeah.
Just such a mature head. You imagine these abilities landing in the wrong person.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal. And as you watch his evolution over the three films, his three films that he is the star of anyway, even his cameos in the others, his evolution of a character is just as he's learning, he's growing, his abilities, he's kind of recognizing when certain things are needed.
Yeah.
And his interpretation of the Spidey sense, the Peter Tingle,
thing
is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Is phenomenal. So, mate, I'm going to do something controversial here.
Okay.
I'm going to end this podcast as part 1.
Okay.
I'm going to end this podcast as part 1. We're going to have a part 2, obviously, with the second part of the film. But I think anyone who's listening to a podcast and it gets to about an hour long...
Yeah, I mean, we've easily got another hour. We're like halfway in the film if we're lucky. Yeah.
We are literally... And I just think this is the perfect point because... Peter, at this point, has had the battle with Doctor Strange, has made his decision.
He's
locked
back.
Doctor Strange in the mirror dimension, which, by the way, leads to my second biggest laugh out loud moment of the film. So he's locked him down in the mirror dimension, and he is about to try and save these people. And I think that would be the perfect way to kick off the second part.
Okay.
And it's the perfect place for us to stop. So, everybody, a massive thank you for listening. This is Spider-Man No Way Home Part 1. Part 2 will be with you very soon. We hope you're enjoying this, and if you're... hopefully they'll be live when you listen to this, and you can just carry straight on if you're ready.
Yeah.
But until we're back, you all take care.
I'm a very good lawyer.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things podcast to join in our conversation every week.